Hello friends, in this video let's see how to use cultural studies in literary research. And first of all, you need to know what is cultural studies. And actually, it's a combination of multiple field actually, because it examines how literature reflects and shapes cultural values, beliefs, and identities. Because when you analyze in the literary text, you should analyze how the literary piece reflects, shapes cultural values, beliefs, and identities. And the very important phenomenon, actually, this can involve in analyzing literary text in their historical, social, and cultural context, and examining how they reflect and challenge dominant cultural narratives and power structures. Challenging the dominant cultural what you call narrative and power structure is the base of the study. Second thing, the study can also involve exploring the ways in which literary text interact with other cultural forms such as film, music, and visual art to produce and reflect broader cultural meanings and values. And to apply cultural studies to literary studies, one can analyze literary works in terms of their cultural context, including historical, social, and political factors. See, there are certain ways you can analyze the cultural studies. First thing, identify. There are four parameters. First parameter, identify the cultural themes and issues in the given text. Because the cultural studies theory focuses on exploring how culture shapes social practices, values, and identities. Therefore, start by identifying the cultural themes and issues in the work which you have selected. And if you can locate these themes, and you will be able to understand. Let me give an example. If you take the Paru Anand, it's a literary work, and in her novel, No Guns at My Son's Funeral, explores the cultural conflict between Hindu and Muslims in contemporary India, because that is the main theme here. Second thing, you need to analyze the representation of cultural elements. Once you have identified the cultural themes and issues, the next thing you have to analyze how cultural elements such as language, very importantly, language, religion, ethnicity, gender, and class works in the particular culture. And if you look at the same Paru my son's no guns at my son's funeral, she portrays the cultural tension between Hindus and Muslims through the use of different dialects of Hindi and Urdu. Third option, you need to examine the power dynamics. This theory also emphasized the power dynamics involved in the production, very importantly, both production and consumption of culture. The power decides how the culture is to be produced and as well as it is to be consumed. So you need to examine the how the works which you have selected reflect the power relations in terms of class, race, gender, and other social factors. And if you look, for example, if you take the Parananth, one of the short stories, the named Other, she explores the power dynamics between upper class woman and her lower class domestic helper. She does a detailed analysis. The fourth factor, it is critiquing the dominant cultural narratives, because the dominant cultural narratives used to dictate the terms to the people and they to follow. But the theory involves critiquing the dominant cultural narratives and challenging them through alternative perspective. Why only the dominant people voice should be heard? You should even write from the subaltern voice should be, normally subaltern are in the periphery and the dominant voice should be the center. But whereas when you're critiquing this thing, why not the subaltern to be in the center, the other people at the periphery? So they simply critique the alternative perspective, they introduce the alternative perspectives also. And you should challenge the dominant cultural narratives. For again, you take the same example, no guns at my son's funeral. Pauravanam challenges the dominant cultural narrative of Hindu-Muslim unity and exposes the underlying cultural tensions and conflicts. See, overall, applying cultural studies theory in works in the literary text involves examining the cultural themes and issues, analyzing the representation of cultural elements, examining the power dynamics, and critiquing the dominant cultural narratives. I hope this video will be useful to you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.